The CNC area is clean when we start and should be cleaned at the end of each period, leaving no debris to cause an unsafe work condition. Go. The first step in moving your file over that you have just post-processed in Mastercam is getting your flash drive and attaching it to the computer. Once your file comes up on the screen, we move that file. It should have your name, .ncd, over onto the computer itself. Once we have the file on the computer, we move it into QP-NCD files. It's a shortcut that's on the desktop. So in this case, the name is Lexi VHS NCD, and we're going to just move it in there. The next step is we start the Techno stepper G-code interface. This machine is called the Techno, and this is the interface that actually controls the machine. Click on it to start the program. A pop-up window tells you a number of options. We want to translate and execute this file. I'm going to go into the desktop and then go into the folder QP-NCD files. And then I'm going to select the Lexi VHS file because that is the program that we are going to be running. A warning pops up. The configuration file was created using the default settings. Yes, that's going to be alright for what we're doing today. Say OK to this pop-up. Let's check a preview of actually what this file looks like. So first we click Preview, and we see that it is a simple engraving of the school's initials. The red part here represents the origin, or 0, 0. We will set the tool here, and then this is our amount of safety that we programmed into this project, which is 1/8 of an inch, and then it will begin cutting these. Let's look at it from the top view. Zoom fit to resize to the screen. So this looks good. You must check the side view. The side view will show you, zoom fit, what you're missing. If you're missing some configuration that you had in the packet or the drawing portion of this, this will be too deep. It must not be too deep, or you will break the bit by the bit going too deep into the material, through the material, and then into the table. I'm satisfied that this deep is not too deep. This depth of cut is not too deep. And we're ready to start to move the machine into position to do this cut. Looking at the machine, I see that it's displaying a status number 5. The status number 5 is not a good number. The number needs to go down to 0 for us to be able to make a cut. If the number is 5, we have to hit the reset button. And let's try that right now. Where is the reset button? The reset button is right here. Let's try to clear this error code. Very good. The machine reads 0, so it is ready to receive the file that we are going to send it now. Sending the file with an error code will not work. The digital display on the DaVinci should display a 0 glowing red number. If it is another number, we have to hit the clear or reset button here. A countdown will happen and we should return to 0. If it still does not return to 0, we may be on our limits. Adjust the 2 knobs or the third in the back so that you are not on a limit switch with your hand. You will have to turn the machine off before you do that. To turn the machine off, use the emergency stop button. When we get ready to put our piece that we're going to cut into the machine, we have to be mindful of where the bar clamps are. If the bit gets too close to the bar clamps, we're going to have a collision, and when there's a collision, the bit's going to shatter. So, for this demonstration, I'm using a spacer piece that was cut on the laser, and we're going to mount the piece over here so that it's going to be parallel to the bar clamp and oriented correctly.
This two-spacer configuration allows us to easily align our piece. One or more of the spacers may be held with double-sided tape.
Once we've selected our acrylic for cut, we need to attach some of the double-sided tape to it. You don't have to use too much because it's very strong, but we have to make sure that it's secure and press on the T-slot table to get a good adhesion of the tape. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip off several small strips. 1 and 2. This is more than enough tape for this project, but I don't want the piece to move while we're cutting it. You may find that using less tape is appropriate in the future, but for now let's do this to err on the side of safety. I'm going to put my spacer block in the machine so I know that I have a face that's going to be parallel to the bar clamp. The bar clamp is aligned with the T-slot, so we know this is going to give us a nice straight cut. If we mount the material off, the program will still run parallel to the T-slots. So we want to make sure that we have something to align it, that we know it has a true edge on both sides. Using your thumb, kind of scratch the other side of the double-sided tape. This will give you something to pick up on. Peel off and peel off. Now we're ready to affix this to the T-slot table. I'm going to go perpendicular to the T-slots, and I'm going to line it up here and slowly rock it down into position and then press on it with my palm. Now I'm ready to remove my spacer. The Techno DaVinci is set up so where this bar clamp and this bar clamp meet, this is normally where the origin would be on the machine. So when we move that out, we see that this is the corner that we will be selecting to be our origin. This is the Y direction and this is the X direction. This is quadrant 1. Okay. Using 2 fixture blocks, we can easily align the new piece that's going to be cut quickly without much trouble.
While in the jog menu, use the arrow keys to move the machine into the origin at a jog speed of 10 inches per minute.
Position the tip of the cutter directly over the corner of the material and moved it into position, we should find that the paper rips. This is called touching off. And now this is 0, 0, 0. 0x, 0y, and 0z. And so now we're ready to run our program. Starting the program requires us to click the start button here. may notice that after your project's cut, a significant amount of material is still jammed into the cut path. The easy way to clean this up is to run the program a second time. The machine already is set up to run, so all we have to do is click the start button again and run the program a second time to eject these embedded chips. It's now time to remove the debris from our cut, if you have not already turned on the vacuum during your cut. To remove the piece from the T-slot, we're going to have to use the heat gun to warm up the adhesive. Then it will peel off nicely like a sticker. Otherwise, the adhesive is going to be very stubborn and give you some trouble coming off. When using thinner acrylic, if you do not use the heat gun, you may crack your project when you're trying to remove it from the T-slot table. 10 seconds is a good amount of time to warm it up and then give it a little bit of a pry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be mindful not to keep the heat gun in any position for too long a time, otherwise it will melt the plastic or catch your wood on fire. And there we have it.